Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Federal Retirement Show. I'm your host, Val Majewski with American Benefits Exchange. And today I've got a very special guest, Miss Brandi Person. She has been one of our regional representatives for many years, has helped out hundreds, if not thousands, of federal employees over the course of her career. And I want to talk to her today just about her experience. First of all, her expertise is above par, right? You're not going to find somebody that's got more federal employee knowledge than Brandi. But I want to talk about her experience, especially when it comes to helping federal retirees or people nearing retirement, and a lot of the concerns and pitfalls and issues that she sees a lot of folks are dealing with. So a very special episode today. I'll bring in Brandi Person. Brandi, thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Well, tell me just for those that are tuning in, to give a little bit about your background, how long you've been working with federal employees, what drew you to working with federal employees, just share a little bit about your experience in this market.
Oh, wow. It's been about, I'd say about 11 years. I started in late 2010 working with federal employees. I've actually been in this industry since 2007, kind of this realm of helping people with these types of things. But I was introduced into being able to help with federal employees in late 2010. And I've been doing that ever since. So I would say that's definitely my niche market. And it's what I love doing in helping them prepare for retirement or just help them go along through their career and making the right decisions on with their benefits in their retirement. I really enjoy it. I love doing it. And I will probably do it until I decide to retire myself.
Well, the thing is, and we talk about this all the time, you and I, but they have a big need, right? That's what kind of drew me in. So did that draw you in as well when you saw that they have a lot of holes and needs that need to be filled?
What I find is, as a whole, in general, I think that in our country alone, probably others, but in our country alone, I think that people that work on just jobs in general that have like a benefits package or retirement package, 9 times out of 10, they don't understand what that is. I worked in corporate America previous to doing this and had a benefits package myself that I didn't understand. And yes, in working with federal employees, that is one thing that we're able to, I was able to learn everything about what they have. And then I can help them to fill those gaps because, most people go to work every day just to work. They're not there to figure out their benefits. And so that's what I've really loved about it is that there is a big, big need in helping them to understand it. And, the thing about what we do here and what I've been able to do with the people that I've helped is they're so appreciative. I mean, that's the thing about it is you're sitting there helping them to understand everything. And they're so appreciative of the help that you give them because they truly do not understand how to maximize and make it all work for them.
Yeah. What I like too, I mean, you're in Tennessee, I'm in Texas. So, but if you talk to a federal employee that works, at a VA hospital or an IRS facility in your area, and I talk to a federal employee that works for the Postal Service or is part of the DOD here in Texas, they're similar, if not exactly the same, as far as benefits and retirement information. So the cool thing about what we do also is it's not just localized, like you were saying, your benefit package in corporate America is going to be different than the company who has the office right next to you.
Yes.
So when we're talking to these folks, they may work for different agencies. They may be in different points of their career, different geographical areas, but their benefits are the same. So we can help out a lot more people with our knowledge and expertise, right? And this is, I could say too, I'm learning things every day. I've been in this for the past 10 years, and I'm learning things. I get stumped every now and then, but and I'm sure you do too.
I do.
but what are some of the biggest things? Because there's a lot of common questions that we get asked, right? A lot of common concerns that federal employees have. So, what are, and I'm going to put you on the spot, what are the top 2, 3, maybe even just the top 1 thing that you see as the biggest concern federal employees have, or the biggest issue you see they're dealing with as they're nearing or entering retirement?
Not enough income. Not enough income. And their biggest question is always, what am I going to receive when I retire? When I retire, what is my pension going to be? What is that monthly payment going to be? And then they quickly learn that it's not enough.
And then I'd say that first big question, right, is when can I leave? When can I get out of here? And then follow up right behind it. Question 1B, what am I going to get? And that number you're saying, and I've seen it too, is normally not enough or not as much as they thought they were going to get.
No, I mean, to spend, 30 years, which is, I would say average, for what I see is someone that has probably spent 30 to 35 years in the federal government. And what they're going to walk away with is very alarming to them. And yes, you're exactly right. I'm hearing it more and more every day now is, when can I leave? When can I get out of here? That's the biggest question. And I think it's just because there's so many changes that have gone on. And then especially what we just experienced over the, past 2 years with COVID and all of that. It's really made people really open their eyes to life in general. But just that itself is, when can I get out of here and how much am I going to be able to get? And then they quickly know that it's not enough.
Then if people are already at that retirement age, I mean, there's not much they can do to save more at the last minute. I mean, I say that like saving for retirement is not something, it's not like cramming for a test, the night before. You can't just do it at the last minute. You have to do that over time. So what kind of advice would you normally give somebody to save more or to have more income in retirement?
Retirement begins when you start a job. It doesn't begin when you end a job. And that's what I really try to drive to people, is that planning for retirement starts the day that you start your career. I have a 23-year-old daughter that's getting ready to start her career, and we're already talking retirement, and she's 23. And we're, she's already like, Mom, here's my benefits. I need you to look at them. And she's not going to be working in the government, but it's still, because of what I do, it's making her look at it and say, what can I do to be better prepared? Because yes, retirement starts the day you walk in the door. And I still to this day have people that call me and say, Sally Sue told me to come and talk to you or whatever, but I'm not retiring for 5 more years. So I still have time.
Yeah.
And I say, no, you don't have time. You need to see me yesterday.
Yes.
Because retirement doesn't begin when you walk out the door. It begins when you walk in the door. And that's a huge problem.
I love the way you put that. That's perfect. It starts the day you get hired, the day you first start. And we usually say this when we're talking to a group or somebody is asking us to come to speak to their group, whatever it might be, right? Their office, their union, their association, whatever. They say, what kind of people do you want to have in the room? Who should we invite? And I say, it's for everybody. Whether your first day on the job, you're in the middle of your career, it's your last day, there's going to be something in there for everybody. But the sooner you can start, the better. So if you're telling people that, I mean, that is probably the best advice anybody listening on this show can get, is plan your retirement from the very beginning, the very beginning. And Brandi, if you talk to somebody, right, and they over plan, like your daughter, she over plans for retirement. How disappointed is she going to be if she has way too much money in retirement?
Oh, heck no. She's not going to be disappointed at all. And the thing about it is, I sit with people also too that will say, oh, that's, you give them the numbers, you lay everything out, and they're like, I can make it. Yeah, I can make it on that. And essentially when they retire, they can't. And they end up calling me back, and we end up troubleshooting over and over and over, even in retirement. And I have many retirees right now that are working part-time jobs in their 60s. So how about that? You work 35 years to be retired, to only find out that now you got to go work part-time at the grocery store or at Walmart or, whatever you can do. I have one lady that's driving around, elderly people to the doctors and things like that. Who wants to retire to have to go back to work?
Sure. I don't know too many that I don't know too many that want to, but they're forced to. People probably ask you this question too. You show them the numbers and they say, well, what can I do? Well, if you still plan on retiring at that time, without you either work longer or you have to change your lifestyle in retirement. And that's going to be exactly what you just said. Either you do less or you downsize or whatever, or you have to still work somehow in retirement.
And this is another one that I get to that I try to tell people too, is I say, okay, you go to work and you spend, I'm going to say 8 to 12 hours a day on the job. So 8 to 12 hours of your day are taken up in a 24-hour period or whatever. What are you going to do for those 8 to 12 hours when you're retired? Okay. Is it going to take less money for you to live in retirement than it took for you to live while you were working? Or is it going to take more money? And to me, and my advice to them is it's going to take more money, because unless you just sit in front of the TV and watch TV all day for 8 to 12 hours, you're going to want to be doing something, and whatever you're going to be doing is going to cost some money. So you need more money in retirement than you actually need while you are working. And so often, more often than not, the people that are retiring with less money.
Well, and a big part of that retirement income, right? There's not much they can do with pension and Social Security, right? I mean, those are pretty much set in stone. They work, you said, average, say 30 years. They're going to get what they get. They make the certain amount of money. They put into Social Security for a certain number of years. Social Security tells us what we're going to get. The big thing, as far as retirement income and need, is going to revolve around TSP. So, what kind of, I guess, advice, guidance, because that's usually going to be their biggest concern in retirement when it comes to that income that you're talking about. What are you normally talking to federal employees about when it comes to their TSP?
Well, number one, walking in the door, you want to be doing what the government is going to match you at minimum. And then the next thing is that I'm glad you asked that question, Val, because TSP is so misunderstood. So often do I have people come into my office and we're talking about thrift savings plan, and they say to me, well, I was thinking I only owe $50,000 on my home, and I could just take some money out of my thrift savings plan and pay my home off. Or they say, I only owe about $5,000 more on my car, and my wife owes about $5,000 more on her car, and we can just take that money out of there. And so my advice to anyone with thrift savings plan is, when you put your money into thrift savings plans, there are two things that you should never do. Number one, you should never use thrift savings plan as a place to withdraw and pay off any debt that you owe. That is my professional opinion, because that's not what it was designed for. And then number two, you should not take loans on your thrift savings plan. So often, more often than not, to me, I see people that will say, well, I'm going to take a loan on my thrift savings plan to pay off whatever, or to buy a car, or to whatever. And I'm paying myself back. Isn't that okay? Because I'm paying myself back. Well, when you're paying yourself back at 1% or 1.3% interest, when that money that was in there could have been making, 5 to 10% interest, depending on what fund you're in, you tell me if that's a smart decision. But those are two things that I truly see as a huge problem with our federal employees in their thrift savings plan, is that they put that money in there and they kind of use it like a savings account. And your thrift savings plan is not a savings account in a matter of that you go and draw from it. It's a savings account intended to provide you income when you retire. And for any other purpose than that, to me, it's a big mistake to make a change and take money out to pay something off, especially a car. Because here's what I've seen happen several times. You got me on this question.
I love it. Keep going.
This is one that is really a touchy one. So I see people say, well, I'm going to pay my car off. And I say, okay, that's great. Are you going to park that car in the garage and never drive it? Well, no, I'm going to drive it. Okay, well, did you know that when you put it on the road, someone can hit you? You may be the best driver out there, but if someone hits you and your car is totaled, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get the value to be able to go buy that car again. So guess what? You're going to get another car payment. So I just never, paying off a home is one thing. If you were working to pay your home off, I would not do it with thrift savings plan. But if you get your home paid off, that's a smart thing, because now you've got a paid for home. But paying off a car, to me, that your intention is that you're never going to buy another one, cars wear out, we put them on the road and they can be totaled. And I've had that happen to at least, not many, but I'll just say at least on one hand, at least 5 different people that are retired, paid cars off. And then a couple of years later, something happened to their car and they had to get another one.
Yeah.
So 2 things I would not do with my thrift savings plan is it's just not designed to pay off debt. That's not what it's for.
Right. And it's a retirement savings vehicle.
Yes.
It's for, if you're talking about a FERS employee, it's one of those 3 income sources that they're going to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned about the 5% matching. I'm glad you did. I mean, that's the best investment you can make. It's free money. You have government employees. Question for you: how much does the government really give you for free? They want to give you free money. Take advantage of it. That 5%, and you're right. It's supposed to be a retirement savings account, not something that you're drawing from. That's what your checking and savings. That's what your emergency stuff is from. That's where just general financial planning is coming in, not your retirement vehicle, tax deferred retirement vehicle that is meant for your retirement income.
Yes.
So you're talking mostly about from the start of their career down towards the end. What about when people are nearing retirement, right? Say they're within a few years from retirement, or they're getting to that age where they're considering it. They've done a good job of building up money in their TSP. What are questions, or what's some of the guidance that you're helping people out with towards the end of their career with TSP?
Definitely getting them into, once they have arrived at whatever number they've arrived at in saving over all those years, it's more about making sure that money can be there for their lifetime so that money does not run out. So of course, I provide them with, places where they can take and put that thrift savings plan into an account that they own and control, where their money can be protected, but they can still have potential for higher growth as if maybe they were invested in, the stocks or stuff like that, but they don't have to worry about their money being lost. So, that is one thing for sure, is that I do have people ask me when they come in, I don't know what I want to do with my money, but I want it to provide me an income. And they're always pleasantly delighted to hear that I can show them how to take that money, whatever it is, and make it last their lifetime. That's something that they can never, that can never run out on them. Whereas when they leave it in the thrift savings plan, they're very limited on options that they have for making that money last their lifetime without giving up control of it. So that is definitely a huge, huge deal, with people who are intending on having their income come to them, monthly from their thrift savings plan.
Yeah, you mentioned keeping the money safe, right? I mean, imagine this is if you're watching a recording of this, then we're still in July 2022. I mean, the market has not done well. TSP funds have all lost money this year up to this point, except for the G fund. Mm-hmm. So, people are losing money in their retirement savings. And imagine you said in January 1st, I've got 1 year left. This is great. The markets have done awesome. I'm going to let my money ride for this next year. And you're relying on TSP to provide you retirement income, and you lose 10 or 15%. That's a big hit, right? So the folks that you're helping and talking to, I mean, you got to bring that realistic example to their attention, because we were in a very comfortable zone over the past decade, and not everybody was thinking about safety and security. They're just thinking, I've been getting 15 to 25, maybe 30% return in my TSP some years. Mm-hmm. I got to think about safety as I'm getting closer. Is that what you normally talk about? Hey, let's take the foot off the gas a little bit, and let's make sure you can't lose any money.
Yes, and I'll tell you this too, Val. I honestly feel like, of course, I always call it my professional opinion, but yeah. But it's real deal, is that if even if you're in the thrift savings plan and you decide when you get to retirement, or as you're near retirement, or even now when things are losing, and you decide that you're going to take your money and put it into the G fund, even though there's not loss in the G fund, in my opinion, it is loss, because you're only earning, the average is around 2% over the last decade, and you're not really earning anything. So even when you're not earning enough, that to me is still losing, because you're losing an opportunity to be able to be in a safe zone where your money can be protected and you can be earning more than that 2% than that TSP or thrift savings plan is giving you. So I usually tell people, if you leave your funds in thrift savings plan, you have two options. If you want to try to earn more, you can put it into those riskier funds where you are going to be susceptible to loss, or you can put it into the safe fund where, in my opinion, you're still losing because you're not earning a whole lot. So why not take your funds and put it where it can be 100% protected and you still have potential for more growth without having to worry or lose sleep at night that your money is going to be gone.
That's a good way of putting it too. 'Cause the people are worried, worried about losing money. That's a big stressor. Even the people that I talk to, folks that manage money, actively manage money, and they say that's a big stressor. And it's not their money, but people trusted them with their money, and they can't prevent all losses. If you're in the market, that's entirely unrealistic. But the only way to guarantee you can't lose money within TSP is to go in the G fund. And like you just said, that opportunity, you're not keeping up with inflation.
No.
We're sitting at 6% inflation and you're only earning 1.5%, 2%. You're actually losing opportunity on that money. So it's not the best bet, in my opinion, too. And that's for those that are listening. Look, we are giving our opinions based upon our experience in working with federal employees in these types of situations. Obviously, your situation is different, which is why you need to sit down with us and talk about it.
Right.
But yeah, if you look at the whole scheme of things, you lay out all the options, there's not a whole lot of plans out there. And we do deal with these. Not a whole lot of plans out there that can say, I'm going to guarantee you against loss, just like the G fund, but I'm going to give you a good opportunity for growth. In some cases, maybe 3-4 times what the G fund does. There's not a whole lot of plans out there that can do that. There are some that do, but it's very limited amount of plans.
And the fees that are on a lot of those plans out there too. What I really like about the plans that we offer is that, you can do those plans without paying those, quarterly fees or those annual fees or things like that. There are plans that you can do that do not have those fees. So if you're with, a major company, a very sustainable company that is going to protect your money 100%. And all they're asking you to do is just hang tight with them for a little while and keep your money here, and you can still access it. You can still draw income from it. You can still, all the things that you would want to do. You're not giving up control of it. And we're not even going to charge you a fee for that. We're just asking you to stay with us for a few years. Why wouldn't you do that?
I'm going to give you a rundown, a scenario, right? And you're going to probably tell me you've had similar ones, but when COVID happened and we saw, let's say the C fund drop 30% in 1 month, people were panicking, right?
Yes.
So I had several clients of mine call me at that time, that was like the end of March, maybe beginning of April of 2020. And they're like, Val, what's going on? These are clients that I'd already helped. They had already moved money outside of TSP. And they said, what's going on? Is everything good? What's going on with my money? I said, remember, we talked about this. Let's log into your account together, and you can see that nothing has happened to your money. It's exactly the same as it was. You can't lose anything. And we logged in, and they said, okay. That's what I thought we talked about, but I just wanted to make sure. Did you have similar experiences during COVID?
Yes, I still have them because of the market being, the way it is right now, and the way things are down. I have several people. They always call me back, or either they're in my office for something else. I was helping a lady retire. I'm helping a lady retire. She's retiring at the end of August, and her and her husband both trusted me with their thrift savings plans to put into one of these plans. And it had been a year, and he said, Brandi, he had texted me, and of course I told him everything was safe. But then when he sat down with me, he said, tell me again, what's going on with our monies? Our thrift savings plan that we moved over with you, what is going on with it? I did the exact same thing. I said, let's look at it. Let's look at it together. And the relief in people's faces when they go, oh, okay, that's right. You did say that. And a lot of times when I'm sitting with people too, because we do this every day. So these things are kind of, they're in us. But I tell people all the time, I said, listen, don't try to remember everything that I'm saying to you. Because I will be here for you, every step of the way. And if I'm not, I have a backup person, and I'll reference you. I actually had a couple of people ask me, say, well, Brandi, you're human too. What about if something happens to you? I mean, I know we have the company to contact, but we want a point of contact. And I said, well, I got the perfect point of contact for you. I will give you his name. If heaven forbid, God says it's time for me to go, then you will have someone else to fall back on. So it's not just me. So that's also what I love about our organization too, is that, we all work independently, but we all can help each other out. But yes, I've had many people, to go back to your question, I've had so many people to contact me during that time and say, tell me what's going on with my monies. What is happening? Am I okay? The market drop. I watched the news yesterday and they said, whatever. And it's so nice to be able to say, you're fine. Remember, we talked about this. Let's look at it together, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's a good feeling. It
Yes.
is. And I can't stomach, I'm a terrible gambler. I can't stomach losing a few dollars. I couldn't imagine, losing hundreds of thousands, or what some people are losing because of what's gone on this year.
Yes.
And if we can help protect some of that, it doesn't have to be all of it, but if whatever they want to protect, if we can help with that and give them that peace of mind, you said that sleep well at night type of protection, it helps us sleep well at night, right? We know we've done right by that federal employee, by their family. And when the time comes that they need those monies for retirement, it's going to be there. They're not going to log in one day and go, oh, what happened?
Yes.
Where did it go?
Yes.
It's gonna be there for them. That's the security and the safety that you're providing, folks. So that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing those stories.
Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of them, and I have the ones that also come in and talk to me about where their monies might have been previous to. So if they had maybe worked at a different place and had a leftover, say, 401k somewhere, and they may have put it somewhere where there was loss, and then to take those monies and actually be able to secure them as well in these plans. It's a feeling like no other, to be able to help them. And then, the years when they are getting the double-digit growth, and, they didn't have to worry all year long about their money being at any risk to get that growth, they are pleasantly happy with those results. So,
well, I appreciate you sharing. I know we're coming towards the end of our time. Any kind of just last for federal employees that are listening, tuning in, curious, any last, concerns or tips that you'd want to share before we wrap up our time today?
The main thing for me would be get that no obligation, as I say, free consultation. That's what we offer. And I have, when people, which I get referrals all the time now from doing this for so long. And the first question they always ask me is, they say, well, how much is your fee? What do you charge?
Yep.
And I say, well, you know what? Lucky for you, I don't charge anything. We provide this service to federal employees, and we give them a free, I usually say 45-minute, no obligation consultation that I can walk you through your benefits and just show you where you are and where you need to be, or, what's good, what's not good, and what we can fix. So don't, a lot of times people are alarmed with, well, what am I going to have to pay for that service? So what I would say to any federal employee listening to this, if you have not had an evaluation in the last 12 months of your federal employee's benefits or benefit package, even if you think you know it all, I highly encourage you to sit down with a federal benefits counselor, myself, someone like me, Val, someone like him, and talk with someone that can help you with that. We would love to help you. I would love to help you in any way that I can, and offer you that free, no obligation consultation just to show you where you are. And I say to anyone, you may be exactly where you need to be, and you may be the furthest from where you need to be. But that's what we're here to do. And don't let money or the fact that you feel like you're going to have to pay something to get that service stop you from doing that evaluation.
Well, I think that's great advice for anybody, right? And
yes,
like you said, if they think they know it already, great. You're just going to get a validation of what you already know. A double checking, if you will say that, just a double check, make sure you know everything. Now, if somebody did what's the easiest way for somebody to get in contact with you if they did want that consultation?
They can reach out to me through my email. They can reach out to me by way of text to my phone, or I have an office number. There's 3 different ways you can reach me. My email address is very simple, theinsurancelady.baboyapple@gmail.com, or you may reach me by way of phone or text at 901-485-0197. And I would be happy to just offer that information to you, that free consultation to you, to just give you that peace of mind and help you out through this process in your working careers to retirement.
And I will say, just because you're in Tennessee doesn't mean you're only talking to folks that are in Tennessee. We help people out nationwide. So if you're in Hawaii, or if you're down at the tip of Florida, and anywhere in between, we can assist you, and Brandi will be happy to assist you as well. So Brandi, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to come onto the show, share your experience, stories, advice. This has been awesome. So it's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Appreciate it, Brandi.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for joining us again on this episode of the Federal Retirement Show. Special guest, Brandi Person. Very thankful for her taking time out of her schedule to come on and join us today. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with colleagues, friends, our episodes. We'd love to just give this information so we can help you along the course of your working career. Be sure to check us out on our previous episodes, and look forward to seeing you on our next show.
Any examples used are for illustrative purposes only and do not take into account your particular investment objectives, financial situation, or needs, and may not be suitable for all investors. It is not intended to predict the performance of any specific investment and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. Fixed annuities, including multi-year guaranteed rate annuities, are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuer. Thanks for listening to the Federal Retirement Show. If you like what you're hearing, make sure to rate our show on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts.